6 months ago, Chinese President Xi Jinping joined U.S. President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. The two leaders agreed to bump up cooperation to 4 regular joint dialogues instead of 2.
I think high-level engagement has been a standard feature of the U.S.-China relationship that has allowed us to keep us a sort of stable and continuing progression in our relationship.
At Washington's request, the first diplomatic and security dialogue focused on reining in the DPRK's illegal nuclear and ballistic missile program.
China understands that the United States regards North Korea as our top security threat.
But Beijing also urged Washington to restart long-stalled talks with the DPRK, saying, quote, China's dual-track plan wins global understanding and support and therefore should be considered by all sides. Both also agreed to arrange reciprocal visits of their nation's defense ministers. A month later, Beijing and Washington launched the Comprehensive Economic Dialogue.
It is time to rebalance our trade and investment relationship in a more fair, equitable, and reciprocal manner.
Dialogue cannot immediately address all differences, but confrontation will immediately damage the interest of both.
It resulted in an impasse on reducing the global steel supply. No news conferences or joint statements, but some progress on inspection protocols for U.S. rice exports to China. Last week, Washington hosted the Social and People-to-People Dialogue. Vice Premier Liu Yandong announced China will fund 10,000 scholarships for Americans to study in China.
These young people need to pass on, guard, and explore Chinese friendship so that the friendship between our two countries will be carried forward.
And on Wednesday, State Councilor Guo Shenkun led the law enforcement and cybersecurity dialogue with his U.S. counterparts. They addressed fugitive repatriation and cybersecurity cooperation.
The dialogue facilitated forthright and detailed discussions and resulted in bilateral cooperation on priority issues, including immigration, counter-narcotics, terrorism, counterterrorism, and also cybersecurity.
And of course, the law enforcement and cybersecurity dialogue is the last in a series of dialogues established between the presidents of the United States and China back in April. It is now concluded for the year. Jessica Stone, CGTN, Washington.